Okay, this is part of the show where we have another special guest interview, part of the Dennison podcasts and radio show here in the UK. Next guest is no stranger to my show. We've had him on before, a Canadian country artist with a bit of folk, singer-songwriter from Winnipeg in Manitoba, if my pronunciation's right. Started off his career, many
You
careers,
got it.
hardwood flooring, even had a stint on reality TV, released several albums in 2009, 2011, and so on, and has won various awards, including Canadian Folk Music Awards. And introducing on the show, we have Don
Mhm.
Amero joining me. How are you, Don? How are you today?
I'm doing right on it. You nailed it. It's Winnipeg, Manitoba. You got it right on.
Fantastic. You are here in London, though, and you're promoting some new music. Is that correct? New singles as well.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to come here and perform this week. So back in Canada, it's called Indigenous History Month. So it's a time of recognizing our Indigenous peoples of Canada and doing some repairs and reconciliation with our non-Indigenous communities and trying to build bridges between the two. And so they've invited me to come and here at Canada House this week, and I performed and had a conversation on reconciliation and what that means to me. Yeah, and at the same time, I happen to have a new song that just hit radio this week, so I'm yeah, talking about that too.
Great. We'll just touch on that shortly. And I know where National Canada Day is that like the 1st of July? It's around this time anyway.
Yeah. July 1st is Canada Day. Yeah, and I know there's a big party that happens here at Trafalgar Square on that day as well.
Cool. And last time, I believe I had the privilege of meeting you in person in Liverpool, a great city. That was my first visit there, where you did a tour with your fellow country
Right.
artists. Was that successful all round? And was it great to just have a jam with your friends on stage?
Yeah, honestly, it was a real sweet treat for all of us. When you come here, you kind of don't know what to expect. I had been here as a tourist before and traveled around all UK and Europe. But for me, every little room we played was pretty packed. We had a good crowd out, which is always amazing to know that we can, gather up some folks that don't know us and trust that we're going to put on a good show. And Yeah, it was honestly a tremendous experience that apologetically Canadian tour, which is funny because I'm walking around London here this week, and every time I kind of bump into people because it's always pretty busy, I'm always saying sorry, which I don't think is the common phrase here. So yeah, I'm definitely still an apologetically Canadian here in London.
Oh, bless you. Um, so that's great. That was then coming up to now. You got some new singles, back-to-back singles you released. Can't Fix This from your
Hmm.
album Six, which includes 6 tracks, and your latest
Yeah.
single called If I Don't. Would you like to
Yeah.
just tell me a little bit about If I Don't?
Yeah. Well, if I don't, so I'm a dad of three kids, and I love them all dearly. Don't always like them, but I love them. And they're 12, 8, and 5, and they're awesome. They're the joys of my life, and the turmoil of my life as well. It's kind of a mixed bag, but it's honestly, I'm a proud dad. And this song, "If I Don't," is very much about like being there for them whenever they need, and there's going to become a time when I won't be here, and hopefully that's still a number of decades from now. But it's just saying that my spirit is always with you as well. So, it's saying like, if I don't get there to you on time, just know that my heart and my love is always with you. And so, I just love that sentiment. As a dad, I felt like that really resonated with me. And me and my guitar player sat down one day, and he's a father too, and wrote this song.
Oh, lovely. Just looking at the lyrics, you could say it's touching as well.
Yeah, honestly, just wanted to share the vulnerabilities of a dad, and also knowing that there's a season where your kids really rely on you, obviously, right? And then eventually they grow up and don't need you as much anymore. And so I think there's a lot of parents out there that this song would resonate with.
That's good. Now onto one of your previous singles, going back a bit, Wouldn't Be Home. I
Mm.
guess like traveling on the road, you're away from your family. That must be challenging. Wouldn't Be Home. Is that along the same parallel? Just a further comment that's had well over 250,000 streams as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be home. That's very much the same, like kind of like saying like when you go back home, you have all these memories and there's all this nostalgia. And there's a lot in that song that I felt connected to about, the high school crush and also kind of going back to your old high school and being in the same house where your grandpa once was. And all those memories for me are very fond memories. And the funny thing is I released that song in May of 2020. So like 2 months after the pandemic sort of took over the world, and it's a song all about going back home and being with the ones you love. And it was 2 months after the pandemic when all everybody was doing was being stuck at home. So nobody wanted to be reminded of how to go home, So everybody wanted to get out and do stuff, but we were all kind of trapped. But still, I think the song stands tall.
That's good. It's doing really strong anyway. I mean, going back to 2020 seems like, well, another time that does seems like a blur, doesn't it?
Sure does, yeah.
On to now as well. What's the feeling like when you hear your song being played back on the radio or an old-fashioned term, the wireless?
Yeah, and honestly, it's always sweet because, you know, there's a million great songs out there. Excuse me, there's a million great songs out there, and to get any airtime is always pleasurable and something I'm grateful for. So, yeah, hearing it back is always a treat because, again, I know there's a lot of great talent out there that is also looking for airtime.
Hmm.
So I'm grateful for it all.
That's what I liked about your show when you come together with your fellow Canadian artists. It just goes to show you can collaborate and you know put aside any I know you're all singers songwriters, but you work together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, so because it was a label, we do really feel like a family, and so we all work together quite well. And families always change, and I know it's not what it once was. Even back in the fall, there's been some big changes, and I'm actually stepping away from the label as of July 1st. So on Canada Day will be my last day with the label, and no animosity. It just felt like where I'm going next was sort of a transition from what we've been doing up till now.
Sometimes when it's time to move on, develop, I guess, and
Yeah, new
just
partnerships, and I think it sort of depends on what you're doing. And for me, I'm a singer, songwriter, storyteller by heart, and but I think that's what I do really well, and that's what people would have seen when we came here on the tour in the fall. I love the country thing, the big sort of big band. That's a lot of fun for me. But I think what really sets my heart free is when I'm able to connect in a small, soft seat venue and connect with an audience. That really is the kind of stuff I really, really enjoy.
that's nice. And people who listen to music also like to hear David James, a bit of Jade
Mm-hmm.
Turner, and the
Yep.
Sons of Daughters. Are you connected with them artists?
I know all of them yet. So David James was formerly with MDM. He's also a fellow Winnipegger where I'm from at home, and even Jade Turner. Jade is a Manitoban as well, and another great Indigenous artist. And Sons of Daughters. I know Jimmy Thau from that band. He and I've worked together. He lives in Nashville, and I don't believe that band is in existence anymore. But still, great songs and a great
Mm.
writer.
And the music is still available to listen to.
Yep, yep.
That's amazing. Been You've been recognised and awarded in various ceremonies, like the 2023 CCMA. You had an award for Innovative Campaign of the Year. Was that one of your career highlights up there?
In, I would say so. Kind of getting that album nomination there is pretty huge. Considering again how many great artists are out there doing this thing, and as an Indigenous artist from Canada, somebody who is always trying to kick open the doors in other areas, and it's great to be recognized in the Indigenous circle. But I think the real next level of that is being recognized on a national level, and having that award nomination was a pretty big deal.
That's cool. And you mentioned this could be your next milestone, your next chapter. Do you have more future set goals or further achievements you may like to fulfill in the next 5 years or so, say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to make UK and Europe a more regular stop for me. I think this is a whole new territory that I would like to keep building on and finding the relationships that can help me grow my fan base here in the UK. And yeah, so I've got partners here now that I've built on since the MDM tour back in the fall. So I'm going to keep working on that. And I think for me, Australia's in my sights. Even though the US is just my neighbor down south from where I am, I haven't done a lot of exploration down there either. So I do think a lot of what I'm trying to focus on over the next 5 years is a little more international exposure. Yeah.
Good stuff. And you mentioned you've done or doing National Indigenous Annual Award for Canada Day. Do you have any local gigs coming up in, say, London or the UK now you're over here?
I literally, it was such a quick stint. I'm actually flying home tomorrow. I played in Camden at a little place called the Green Note, cool little venue in the basement there. And I'm not sure when I'm going to return, but I definitely, like I say, want to make it an annual or biannual thing to come
Yeah.
back this way and make sure that I
Yeah.
continue to connect with people here that have been connecting with my music.
Great. Well, right now you're at the second with me in London, and I just want to say thank you very much for your time to chat to me today about a little catch up, a revisitation, like interview, as I say, and we'll get your new latest
Yeah.
single, If I Don't, on my show right now. Don Amero, best of luck with everything this year, your career.